Hello, this is Howard Kabinski from Kabinski Business Systems in Erie, Pennsylvania, and the Davidson Company in Hagerstown, Maryland. This is another short video about the Comtrex POS system. This one is covering more food-related items. As you know, we start by having a server number. In this case, I'm going to use server 10. That's logging me in as Johnny J. I am brought to the main dining graphic showing the different tables at the bar and the dining room. Typically, someone would start by selecting one of these tables, and we go to the food menu, where professionally programmed based upon the items that each client gives us has been prepared with graphics. In this case, if I wanted to choose appetizers, I would go to the appetizer button. It would show me a list of the appetizers, and we'd also have it scroll down to include as many appetizers as is necessary for your application. This is a stay down, so when I pick a black ravioli appetizer, the list stays down. We are allowed to choose either stay down or pop up for each individual category. Since appetizers are usually ordered at a table, we normally stay down here so that everybody's appetizer can be entered before we return to the main menu of food. If we wanted to add an entree, we have here Delmonico steak, and all the different items that are required for the prep cook to finish this selection will then be asked, and we can pick what we want to for each item, so it'll be prepared in the kitchen the correct way. In this case, then, if I was done, I would press send, and this would send the information from that check into the kitchen for preparation, returning me to the table screen. The table screen indicates open is green. The table indicates a table in use that has not been waited on for X minutes. That's programmed according to each client's needs in red. So this table 101 and 104 have not been waited on recently. The B in yellow indicates that this check has not yet been sent. So if I wanted to add to this person, I could go ahead and put a dessert onto their check. Cheesecake. Again, this desserts are stay down, so it stays down until I pop it up by clicking on dessert. In this case, I would be able to maybe print the check for the customer, and although you can't see my print, this would produce a printed check for the customer to pay. When it was brought up to the bartender or hostess to pay, you would select the check off of the list, and this person owes us $42.55. We would go in this case to a quick cash key if they gave us $50. We could alternatively go to a credit card setup key, gift card, discounting options. All the choices that relate to immediate payment can be selected before we would, let's say in this case, pick a $50 bill. That'll tell me that the change I should give is $7.45. So let's pick an open table 102. Now you may have a time where more people sit there and you need to have separate checks. In that case, the very first person, you can just enter their appetizer, and it automatically, when I pick add a seat, it's going to know that I wanted to separate the check between the first base scallops and the next one. So when I pick add a seat, it not only adds seat 2, but it knows that I wanted to have a split check, so it creates seat 1 for the first appetizer. So I can go ahead and put the buffalo wings on the second person's check and send that away. Now here we have the yellow 102 that we put the appetizers on. When they want their entree, the server would select 102, and seat 1 automatically comes as selected, so that when we go into the entree, this is going to be seat 1's quail. Well done with soup. the black bean soup, and let's say mashed potatoes this time, and fresh asparagus. Now I just touch the Seat 2 button, and now the entree will go to the second person's check. In this fashion, when it's ready for printing, after we send this to the kitchen, and now they want their check, I'll be able to go into that table, and with the split check down here in the corner, I'll be able to see that these are the checks for the one and the other. At this time, I could make a correction by clicking on something on this person's check and moving it over to this check, or vice versa. When I click on the original tab, it turns everything green, and having been made green, when I go down to the bottom where it says create checks in green, this will make this one check on table 102 and move it into 2 checks. So right now when I pick table 102, it's picking check 39. You can see a slight graying here. If it was the other person's check on table 102, that would be table 102, but check 40. I can just tell that because these are the latest 2 numbers in the check numbered. I can select that one check and have that individual pay their bill, and then pick the other check and have that individual pay their bill. The same corrections that we covered in previous presentations exist here. So if I did pick an appetizer or 2, the very last item has a shading. That is set up purposely because most people recognize their mistake almost immediately, and the correction button down here will get rid of the shaded item. So I can pick that, and it gets rid of the fried mozzarella, at which point I could go to the appetizer and put in the fried mushrooms with cheese. Now if it's not the last item, in this case fried mushrooms was the last item, but it was the buffalo wings, an item that preceded the last item, I simply have to touch that item to get it shaded and then go to the correction button, and that corrects that. If it had already been sent to the kitchen, normally we would require a manager code to void off something that's already been sent to the kitchen. One other nice feature of the software is intelligent correction. So if I did have something that had been completely done, and then I realized I had made a simple mistake, like they didn't really want blue cheese dressing. So intelligent correction allows us to, instead of having to get rid of the whole Chateaubriand entry and start over, allows us to go to the blue cheese salad dressing that we really wanted French. And when we do a correction, it not only gets rid of the blue cheese, but it brings us to the screen that we'll need in order to quickly correct and move forward. At this point I can send, and now that correction was made very quickly. So I hope that this presentation on the food items was helpful. If you want the long version of the demonstration that includes all items, simply let us know,